Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for the continuation of our very long program of going step by step, aphorism through aphorism in the Organon of Medicine by Samuel Hahnemann, the 6th edition, of course, because we will learn how to use LM potencies in this 6th edition. But yet we are early into our book. We are on aphorism 14 and 15 today. Over to you, Sanjay. Oh, and I'm Tikva. I'm coming to you from northern Israel.
And from hot, humid atmosphere.
It's not humid actually, and it's only like 30, but it's just that I was trying to get my fan to work.
Are you able to understand her accent?
Yes, sir.
कोई difficulty है language समझने में? You must have heard in English serials and movies.
Well, I don't exactly sound like a movie star, nor do I look like a movie star.
Who?
Me. I don't look like a movie star. I don't sound like a movie star.
Accent.
I don't even think I have the right accent.
Yeah, for if you look from our perspective, it doesn't matter actually. We cannot make that difference.
Well, as long as my English is clear and understandable, we are okay.
Yeah. Okay. Today we are on aphorism number 14.
Introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm Dr. Sanjay Solunke. I'm from Ambejogari, central Maharashtra actually.
It looks to me like
exactly
the Maharashtra. It looks to me more, if you're looking at the map, it looks more like the East Coast to me. You know, it looks farther east than the center.
No, it's actually center of Maharashtra.
It's in the very, very center. I was looking
Not exactly near, it's near little bit south.
Yeah, I know, right? And how many more kilometers east does it go? I mean, you're getting close to Telangana there.
That doesn't matter actually. Where I live. I live in extreme dry place in Maharashtra.
Okay, we can say Sanjay is the Indian dude.
Yeah.
That'll differentiate you from everybody else here today.
No, everyone is, I think they are from Madhya Pradesh, right?
No, sir. I am from Maharashtra.
You're from Maharashtra. From where?
Sir, Mumbai, Central Mumbai, suburban.
Okay, okay.
Sir, I'm from Bhopal, Madhya Pradesh.
उसको mic off करने दो. Okay, we will begin. So further, last time we see that he talks about materia patterns, he talks about dynamization, dynamics and dynamic nature of vital force. And here he talks about, can you please bring up the aphorism?
Oh, you want the PDF, huh? Yep. Let's hope we can do this right.
In this aphorism, Hahnemann has written very clearly. See, there is in the interior of man nothing morbid that is curable, and no visible morbid alteration that is curable, which does not make itself known to the accurately observing physician by means of morbid signs and symptoms. So, what does it means? Tigwa?
Well, it means that he says here, he uses the infinite goodness of the all-wise preserver of human life. Here he's referencing God, the all-wise preserver of human life. That means that we have to know that all healing actually comes from God, and that God also provides all the information that we need to know about a disease and what is curable, because not everything is curable. You know, when people are literally dying, all we can do is make them more comfortable, right? So anything is always made itself known to the observing physician by disease signs and symptoms. Morbid comes from the Latin morbus, which means death. So morbid means diseased. So anything that is going on with a person that is curable is going to show up in the person at hand with signs and symptoms. Signs are things that we read, that we notice. We can call it objective phenomena. Symptoms are things that are told to us by the sick person. So signs and symptoms, objective phenomena, and subjective phenomena both come together for the observant physician, that means the homeopath, to observe and read.
Okay. See, vital force produce signs and symptoms. We have seen the dynamic vital force produce sign and symptoms, and it will produce sign and symptom at what level it's been vibrating, at what level it's been functioning. If it is at health level, it will function accordingly. And if it is below or high, it will function accordingly. And likewise, Hahnemann says here, whatever morbid nature, that is curable. Means that is curable. It cannot be remain what you call inside, or it will always be revealed in the form of sign and symptoms. Or you can say, what do you call, हिंदी में कहूँ ठीक हुआ
What?
ये छुपा नहीं रह सकता है क्योंकि ये this will always reveal itself in the form of altered or morbid sign and symptoms. And ये जो last line है ना, the arrangement in the perfect conformity with the infinity goodness of all wise preserver of human life. In short, Wahi Tikva has mentioned the arrangement made by God. वो तो ठीक है, लेकिन actually it is talking about the vital force, the energy that preserves the life. And it will show up all the signs and symptoms of the disease in the form of disease. And there is no other way. In earlier aphorism, we show vital force or disease, internal disease is only will present in the form of altered sign and symptom. Here he has used the word morbid sign and symptoms,
Yeah,
disease sign and symptoms.
alteration means changes. So if you, let's say you get a pair of pants that need to be shortened, in English, you would say you're going for alterations to the pants,
Changes.
changes. And so alterations of the invisible morbid alteration means that the energetic morbid alteration, the changes. And as homeopaths, we are always looking for the change state. So when somebody comes down with the flu or they come down with dengue, we're looking to compare their normal state with the change state. And this is one of the very fundamental things that we do.
If you look at the word, what he says, there is in the interior of man, means inside man. He's not talking about inside of any organ or inside of brain or mind or like that. He is interior of man. Nothing morbid that is curable, and no visible morbid alteration that is curable, which does not make itself known. Means ऐसा ये छुपा नहीं रह सकता है. It will reveal itself in the form of altered signs and symptoms. वो जो अगर ऑब्जर्वेंट अच्छा ऑब्जर्विंग करने वाला फिजिशियन है, उसकी आंखों से, उसकी पर्सपेक्टिव से, वो दैट विल नेवर रिमेन हिडन. क्योंकि फिजिशियन को, होम्योपैथ को ये पता होना चाहिए ये मॉर्बिड साइंस एंड सिम्टम क्या है. Okay, this is all about 14th aphorism. He here only talks about the whatever signs and symptoms which are curable, and what you call it, they are disease and which can be curable. They cannot remain hidden inside from the observation of the correctly or physician or homeopath.
But you notice that he says accurately.
Yeah, accurately observing physician.
That means you have to actually know what you're doing.
What is accurately observing physician? Anyone else? Aisha?
No, sir, no idea.
So that's something to touch upon.
What is accurately observing physician? And what if you remove that word, accurately?
What is it to be accurate?
To the point, right?
Yes, it means correct.
Correct.
Yeah, I mean, actually, he talks about we need a person or a physician who knows what to look for.
Yes.
And one more thing. From this point, accurately observing physician, he is talking about look at the facts. Look at the facts, what are changed. Don't interpret it.
Yeah, we're only talking about facts here. It's like, let's say somebody comes in and they're going to consult with you, and you notice that they have dark rings around their eyes. That's important. That's a symptom. If somebody has, if you see a woman that has facial hair the way she shouldn't, I don't mean the soft facial hair. I mean, like hard facial hair, like a man, then that's important. There are so many things that are important for the homeopath to observe. Things like body temperature is important to observe. If somebody has like freezing cold hands in the middle of summer, something's wrong, and we need to know that. So all the little things and the little nuances that we observe are part of what goes into our information that we then go through to look at the change state in the patient. They have to be able to observe things correctly. And there's a lot of information about what to observe, how to observe, and how to do case taking. We did some of that in Aphorism 5 and 6. But now we're just talking about how there's nothing that is curable that will not make its way known to the properly observing physician.
Right. So here we have only this much. Disease will presume in interior man will always reveal itself in the form of morbid sign and symptoms, and it cannot be remain hidden from eyes of accurately observing physician.
Yep, exactly
Huh?
that. Exactly that. Same
Excuse
with
me, sir,
men.
I have one question. Suppose
Uh-huh.
means patient came in the clinic like a wards. So we don't focus on the wards. We should search the some behind the what is the morbidity. So how to identify?
No,
Because sometimes
actually, see, it will always reveal on the surface. So what's become important here?
Right. If you notice today in the group, Nomi is in California. She doesn't have her stuff with her. And I definitely used the rubric that represents malformations on the skin.
So what's become important, presenting symptoms become important. Huh? Everything what is in the present state will become important. No
only we can
information
select.
is useless in for homeopathy. Whatever information we are getting from that patient, every information is important, but we need to think about the priority. So presenting totality is always important. If word he came with the word, you have to take the word as primary. And then from there you can go behind. Okay, we will learn that part also in the coming session. Huh?
Yeah, sure, sir. Because it is important for the student, because they are very much curious about now how to diagnose even the is the words
Yeah,
of.
see, we don't have to diagnose in homeopathy actually. That is different. We are trying to teach over here. In allopathy, you are diagnosing the disease. You are diagnosing that, but here we are not diagnosing the disease. We are just taking the totality of person, that man or individual who is diseased, and we are taking the totality of drug or which is already there, which is came from
The per-
proving data.
Yeah, so we're just
And we
ascertaining,
are just comparing, means making similarity between them.
right? You have,
We are not diagnosing anything.
right,
We are taking the symptom as they are,
exactly.
the factual symptoms. We are not interpreting this is typhoid fever, this is malaria, or this is diagnosis is useless in homeopathy. If you look at diagnosis, there are very much chances to get into failures.
Yeah, oh yeah. And there are so many diseases that have yet to be properly discovered. So they're like very difficult to, to diagnose. I mean, you have diseases like MCAS now that people are starting to understand that some people have hyperactive histamine receptors. And this is a new diagnosis, but a homeopath doesn't even need that diagnosis to be able to help that person because the signs and symptoms are there for us to read. So a lot of things change in medicine. A lot of things are always changing in medicine. Just like how when coronavirus first started, we're like, okay, what's this going to be? We didn't need the diagnosis. Homeopaths were at the advantage in coronavirus because all we need to do is ascertain, to observe, and to notice the change from the normal state to the disease state, analyze those facts, and then apply the most similar dynamic potentized medicine. So diagnosis doesn't really give us very much to go off of. Sometimes it can give us seed of disease. Sometimes it can let us know that it's something more serious that we need to be more aggressive with. Or it can also be sometimes that the diagnosis can be that we'll just sit back and wait. Maybe nothing needs to be done. Maybe after vomiting twice, a person will be fine. So diagnosis has very, very little to do with what we do as homeopaths.
Okay. Here we are on the 15th aphorism. And what we could see in this 15th aphorism. In short,
The affection means like situation, the changes of the morbidly deranged spirit like dynamis, the vital force that animates our body in the invisible interior, and the totality of the outwardly cognizable symptoms produced by it in the organism and representing the existing malady constitute a whole. They are one and the same.
the same.
This is very important, and there are a lot of really hard words here. Okay, so morbidly deranged means the sick, the changes while being sick, and affection means the way it's affecting the body. So we have the effects on the body of the changed, deranged, like not arranged properly. When you arrange things together, they are arranged. When you take them apart and scatter them, they're deranged. So we're
Like
always,
derail.
well, deranged and arranged are the opposites. It's not derailed off the tracks, it's deranged. It can be in any scattered pattern. So we're looking at the patterns of the illness, the disease state, And we have the spirit-like dynamis. Dynamis means the movement, the dynamics. And then we have in the parentheses the word vital force by Havemann, or actually by Boricki. That animates, to animate. What is an animation? What's anime?
Movement,
Yes,
motion like
right? Has anybody ever watched animations or anime?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah,
Yes,
So-
ma'am.
right. Animation means to bring motion, to bring movement, to bring something to life.
To bring into an activity.
To life our body in the invisible interior. As you remember, 200 years ago, the interior of the body used to be invisible. There were no ultrasound machines. There were no CAT scans. There were no MRIs. And this was just before the X-ray. So the invisible interior and the totality of the outwardly cognizable. Okay, cognition.
Cognizable.
Anybody know what the word cognition means? Yeah, the word cognition is the root word of this. To think.
Aware.
And thinking. So we have to be able to see and think about the symptoms produced by the organism
Experience.
and representing the existing malady. Okay, so you're going to be able to notice the symptoms produced by the vital force in the organism, and this represents the disease, and it constitutes a whole. This representation is the disease. They're one and the same.
Means signs and symptoms
Are the disease.
are the disease.
Yes.
Are the diagnosis.
Yes.
So here diagnosis will change along with every individual.
Yes. Bonninghausen has a beautiful quote about that. That the signs and symptoms represent the diagnosis and the cure at the same time. Continuing, the organism is indeed the material instrument of life, but it is not conceivable without the animation imparted to it by the instinctively perceiving and regulating dynamis. Just as the vital force is not conceivable without the organism. Consequently, the two together constitute a unity. Although in thought, our mind separates this unity into two distinct conceptions for the sake of easy comprehension. Okay, guys? So our bodies, these are the material instrument of life. This is how we go about our daily activities, is with our body. As if we separate our body from our spirit or the vital force, the body's dead. So the vital force is animating, is bringing to life the material body. And the material body has a regulating dynamis. The energy of the body is changed by the vital force. And that while the organism and the body work together to be, one unit, because without the body, there's just a spirit. And the spirit we don't really see. You know, when somebody dies, we don't really see that spirit. But when it's in the body and the person's still alive, we see with the material body how that person exists throughout their days. So everything is together, the vital force and the material body. And for easier conceptual thinking, it can help us to describe these as separate things, but they're really one and the same, the dynamis and the material body.
How do we notice if the body is dead or alive?
Vital sign.
Because we only see the material thing, we only see this body. Only difference is that living body will have animation, function, sensations, and dead body will not have those actions. Like, means it is a vital force that animates this material body, means it gives action to that material body. It gives that sensation to material body. So for us, we just think, but here vital force and that material body is it's not separate identity, it's united form. Here Hanuman says to study, to understand, to make us easy to understand. We say that it is material, it is immaterial, but that is one and the same thing. Right?
Yep, the two, the material body and the vital force, with its
Mhm.
regulating dynamis, are united and form a unit that animates the visible body and produces symptoms in disease. One is not possible without the other, even if we think or talk about them as different things to be able to understand it better.
Here in this book, very nicely represented the affection of the affection of the diseases, vital force and the disease symptoms, thereby constitutes separable whole. They are one and the same. Everything being in the same means sign and symptom, it vital force and material body, means that is only observed in the form of sign and symptoms. And this is not two things. Okay. Next.
That's it, Sanjay.
So we are finished over here. Any questions?
Do you have a questions?
Yeah, we can have questions.
Shubham,
Can
Aisha.
you just, Tikwa, can you just close that screen share?
Yep.
Koi students?
Yes, sir. Is
हाँ जी,
a vital force or spirit the same thing or different thing in homeopathy?
vital force and
Spirit.
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 Yeah, your
See,
term came
why,
in this aphorism.
what is spirit? Hanuman haven't said that spirit is vital force. Hanuman says spirit like.
Okay.
How can you explain this, Tikva?
Well, I see the way that Hahnemann phrases it is that he's just skirting the issue of spirit and vital force. He's just being just a little bit careful because I would assume with, he doesn't want people to take this into a religion. And he doesn't want us to be religious about it. But, literally speaking, when you have, the vital principle that animates the individual vital force, I mean,
Atma.
it's kind of clear. But he doesn't want this to become some kind of religious thing. He's trying to show this as just a factual thing. And because since there are people all across the world with their various religions, I think he's being very careful here.
He's just comparing that vital forces like spirit. But
Yeah, that's the
not
way
the same.
the words.
He says like that. He says like that. But actually, it not means exactly. हमें पता है कि हिंदी में हम लोग बोलते कि आत्मा चली गई है, आत्मा बीमार होती है क्या कभी?
No, sir.
आत्मा हमें साइंस एंड सिम्टम्स प्रोड्यूस करती है क्या कभी?
No, sir.
आत्मा ट्रीट होती है क्या? मतलब हम आत्मा को दवाई देते हैं क्या? वो साधु बाबा वो बातें छोड़ दो, वो
No,
कुछ
no,
भी कर
sir.
सकते, हाँ?
No, sir.
तो कहने का मतलब ये है, उसने हम लोग उस तरीके से ना सोचे कि है ना, तो नहीं तो फिर कोई किसी टाइप का भी ट्रीटमेंट करेगा, वो होम्योपैथी को वो लेवल पे ना लेके जाए। इसने बोला कि वो है, लेकिन वो एक्चुअली वो उस टाइप का नहीं है, ये वो फोर्स है जो तुम्हें पूरी लाइफ में, पूरे सेल में, पूरे बॉडी में उसका एक्शन है, और उसका प्रेजेंटेशन जो है, मतलब हम उसको एक ही तरीके से देख सकते हैं, जो बॉडी की एनिमेशन है, मतलब बॉडी की एक्टिविटी है, बॉडी के सेंसेशंस है, बॉडी के फंक्शंस है। जब मैं बॉडी के फंक्शन सेंसेशन बात करता हूँ, तो दैट इज नॉट एग्जैक्टली, मतलब वो ये नहीं है कि वो किसी एक पार्ट के में बात कर रहा हूँ। आई एम टॉकिंग ऑफ every part, every cell of the body, every organ of the body, पूरी, it's about everything। तो उसकी प्रेजेंटेशन ही उसके अंदर से हम देख सकते हैं, रिप्रेजेंटेशन ही उसके अंदर से है। तो हमें कैसा पता चलेगा कि ये आदमी बीमार है? तो उसके साइंस एंड सिम्टम्स उस तरीके से काम नहीं करेंगे जिस तरीके से उन्हें करने चाहिए,
Yes, sir.
है ना?
These dynamics.
Suppose the heart rate is a 72, when the below rate or when the hyper rate is
तो दोनों भी डिसीज है,
yeah. So
ऐसा
then we
ऐसा नहीं है
identify
कि
that this is a normal, this is a healthy person, is a fixed higher, fixed, and the one the when disease, then the rate is the differ.
Yes, sir.
actually we need to learn that only becoming hyper or becoming lower of any functions is तो दोनों भी डिसीज पार्ट है।
Unless it's normal. For example, you're talking about heart rate. If somebody goes running, their heart rate's going to be faster. That's normal. If their heart rate does not increase with strenuous exercise, That would be abnormal.
And if you are holding a fire, it will burn your hand. It's normal.
Right.
Yes.
So a lot of
So,
homeopathy is separating the
hum,
normal from the
hum, if you are going in the sun, that sun will give you that heat. Although every individual will experience that intensity in the different ways, but still that having ability to produce heat or that sensation is normal thing.
always separating the normal from the abnormal. And it also depends on the situation.
Any other questions? कोई तुम्हें क्वेश्चन पता है क्या? तो ऑर्गेनन में किस टाइप का क्वेश्चन आता है रिलेटेड दिस पार्ट?
सर वहाँ सिंपल क्वेश्चंस आते हैं मोस्टली आज द डिफाइन द वाइटल फोर्स व्हाट इज द वाइटल फोर्स एंड व्हाट इज द रोल ऑफ द वाइटल फोर्स इन द सिक पर्सन हाउ टू क्योर व्हाट इज द रोल ऑफ द वाइटल फोर्स इन द क्योर that time questions is come in the organon.
हाँ, क्वेश्चन लगते तो सिंपल है, लेकिन एक्चुअली अगर देखा तो उतने भी सिंपल नहीं है वो.
No, it is not simple, but
हाँ,
there is some notes na AK Das. They have given
हाँ,
the
एके
notes,
दास.
then people have
एके दास,
learned, they don't
एके दास
understand
has,
the word.
एके दास has spoiled homeopathic means organon actually.
Yeah.
Tikva doesn't
ठीक
know
है.
DOS. Sorry.
Do you know एके दास टिकवा?
No.
Okay.
This is a guide like a, I think
It is.
for the passing the student they read it the same.
Oh,
It is only this much book, and that will clear whole homeopathy all the 5 years. Only this much book. And there is no aphorism in that book.
Yeah,
Only question and answers.
yeah, like a guide.
I would recommend reading the Organon.
Because Organon will teach you every minute things what Hahnemann has mentioned.
It's the instruction booklet. You know, you get yourself a new television set, right, guys? Or you have to set up a new phone. You have to follow
But
the instructions. Same with homeopathy. We have to follow the instructions.
But people break the rules according to their wish, mostly.
Huh?
Mostly we don't follow because aphorism understanding is very tough. Like people very much where is the vital force, where is the speed, there is a both same
No,
thing, or
actually,
whatever is.
The vital
listen.
in the whole body is filled with the vital force, and it touches every bit of the.
Mostly people just want to pass out in the organon. They don't follow the principle of the homeopathy actually in the organon, which I had given.
There is very fun, actually, I can say that what is homeopathy? Homeopathy is homeopathy only because it is based upon these principles. If someone is not following this principle, the method which, whatever he is following, it cannot be called homeopathy. Because to name the system as homeopathy, it should be based upon these 5-6 principles.
Which are
Like
Which are?
mostly a patent is going on, like for the renal stone, for the warts medicine. So people unable to
Specialist.
understand the homeopathy. They think
Specialist.
this is a homeopathy. Yeah.
What are these principles of homeopathy?
7 cardinal principles.
Okay, कोई बच्चे आके बोले any
Love
student
Have you
Similia.
idea?
बोलो जरा आके वीडियो पे आके बात करो.
Okay, sir.
Mhm.
Yes, sir.
Very
Like sir, love similias,
Okay, and
theory of vital force,
okay, and
theory of after that the drug dynamization.
drug dynamization. Okay, and
Yes, and the most one effect, the most important one like drug proving.
okay, good, good. And
Yes, sir.
you forgot about the dose.
minimum.
How much dose? And
What, sir?
simplex. Law of
Simplex.
similar, law of simplex, law of minimum dose, law of minimum. Theory
Yes,
of vital force,
infinitesimal
theory
dose.
of chronic disease.
Chronic diseases. Yes.
Vital force, chronic disease, and drug dynamization. And
Drug
drug
dynamization.
proving.
Yes.
इनमें से क्या बोल सकते हो कि चलो हमें ये जरूरत ही नहीं है होम्योपैथी के लिए. लॉ ऑफ
Nothing.
सिमिलर तो बेसिक है. इट इज मेन पार्ट ऑफ
The
होम्योपैथी.
yes, homeopathy
अनलेस
is based on law of similia.
ये सारे बातें लॉ ऑफ सिमिलर पे. सिंप्लेक्स, व्हाई इट इज सिंप्लेक्स? व्हाट इज लॉ ऑफ सिंप्लेक्स?
Just
It's
one
a single
Simplex,
medicine.
it should be simple. It cannot be mixed together.
Ivana just popped up and she was just going to tell us what the law of simplex is. Hi, Ivana.
Who?
Ivana.
Ah, hi.
Hi. No, I just thought, isn't the law of simplex just giving one remedy at a time?
Exactly. The keeping the cure process simple. You cannot mix two drugs together. Giving one at a time. That is a law of simplex.
Because they weren't proven together, so we cannot give two at the same time.
Yeah, and the symptoms would be known when it is single symptom will be known, and we as a homeopath could know what is going to happen when you use certain drug in certain individual. And
Other-
when you are giving 2, 3, 4 mixtures, you cannot predict the symptoms.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yep, in
Anything else?
Aphorism, Hahnemann talks about how using polypharmacy is like being a madman who breaks his way into a workshop, doesn't understand how to use the tools, and starts using them all wrong. And you can't expect good results from that.
Next time I could like to ask student to come prepare with these cardinal principles.
Okay, sir.
Just we will
Okay, sir.
have discussion.
Sure, sir.
Because unless only because of these six,
No.
seven principles, there is the method is called homeopathy. Otherwise, it cannot be called homeopathy. You cannot skip any of the principle. You cannot skip law of similar. You cannot skip even law of simplex. You cannot skip vital force because it will teach you what is disease, what is symptom. You cannot skip chronic disease. You cannot even think of homeopathy without dynamization of drug. You cannot give any drug without drug proving, means without knowing the symptom.
Without the curative power or without the pathogenetic power in the, by the drug proving, we know the what is the power.
No,
what is the
you should know. You should know what is the symptom produced by that drug.
Yeah.
That should be known and that should be produced on healthy human beings. That is main. It cannot be produced symptom from any animals like allopathy. That's why you cannot skip any of the principles. If you call the system as homeopathy, it should be based on all these factors, all these principles.
It
Means
needs,
the drug proving should be on the healthy human being. Like in the pharmacy book, there we are using the new HPT trials. Means the HPT trials means the pathological trials on the animal proving. So it is okay. Is
Yeah,
it
no,
okay?
it's not. No, you cannot prove drug on animals for homeopathy. For allopathy, it's okay. They can. How can you get symptom that I am having vertigo when I wake up? How can an animal tell that?
yeah, the animal's not able to say, wow, my left leg feels so heavy.
And even my dog cannot say that, don't take me on the walk, I am nauseating. So,
Yeah, because
So
homeopathy,
here we cannot mention the disease name like a pneumonia, like a pulmonary tuberculosis,
no,
like a cough in
you
the
can,
dry cough and the in the increase in the night. This is the only symptoms.
in which we are doing Materia Medica Pura study, and we are done, I think, so many remedies so far. And have you see that single word like typhoid fever, like pneumonia, like malaria, like tuberculosis? There are only symptoms.
Yeah, in the there is a no name, but the some materia medica they will give the name of the disease like the tuberculosis, like a warts. Then the people mostly use the thuja medicine. Is it okay for the thuja for the every kind of the warts?
Yeah, Thuja will work definitely on every kind of words.
no, it won't. No, it
Ah.
won't. Because if the body, if the vital force requires causticum, it needs causticum. If the vital force requires sulfur, it needs sulfur. If it requires antimonium crudum, it requires antimonium crudum. Thuja is not going to work in every case of warts. Thuja is basically a specific for venereal warts, sexually transmitted,
Yeah.
but not for other warts. Other warts fall under sphora, and a person might need calc, they might need britacarb, they might need antimonium crudum, they might need silica, they might need sulfur. There's a huge range for warts of
Means
remedies are specifically for warts, because you have to look at the whole person and their presenting symptoms. I can tell you how many times I have failed with a pathological prescription. So many times. When I was a young woman and I tried using things like a personality prescription or a pathological prescription or a pathological guide, I would usually fail. Usually. It was terrible. It was tragic. Until I really deeply understood what Hanuman expected us to do our work and understand thoroughly about, the laws of dynamics and the symptoms produced by the body, and to match those properly with the symptoms produced in a proving, and to have it be proving data as opposed to a vague mention of this, that, or the other. I used to have a lot of failure in my cases.
Means you want to say कि Tuja is for the using for the fig words. Means according to Dr. Hahnemann, we have a different kind of the word. One is the psychotic, means according to chronic disease, like a fig words, and when the Sora miasm is responsible, then a with the different kind of the words. Is it right?
Words come from all the miasms.
I heard mostly two types miasm. Syphilis I haven't heard, so that's why I'm confused. There is some. Mostly I read in the Organon book, two types of the, one is the Sora and the second one is a,
Psychosis.
yeah, fig words mostly is a psychosis. When you have a fig kind of the, means like a anjeer or like a, then is a fig words, then it is a mostly is a tuja, or it is a psychotic miasm responsible. Sometimes maybe in the behind the complex miasm, but mostly we follow the, also mostly people follow the, everything is the same way. Give the words, then we give the further, either is a combination, Tuja, anti-impute, or this one. Yeah, thank you, ma'am.
Yeah, I remember a case a long time ago of a little boy that had dozens of warts on his hands, dozens. And looking holistically at him about all his other symptoms, I gave him a dose of sulfur and it all cleared up. But he was literally plagued by warts.
Thank you.
You have to have that totality of all the different symptoms of a person in order to be able to help them.
May I ask, Tikva, what did you take? What was all that you took into consideration when you took?
Let me think. He was hot.
Mhm.
Used to like to lay on the floor of the cold tiles without clothes on most of the time. Very red lips
Mhm.
and hated to share, and was was kind of precocious and
Oh,
hated to share things.
I didn't know that was sulfur.
Yeah, he's just very selfish, very, he kind of, really thought a lot of himself. And so, with the heat and just the terrible, terrible case of warts
Mm.
and the redness of the lips, the ears, there might have been more. This was a long time ago now.
But it is a great example because I know, I mean, me myself, I would have thought, oh, warts, thuya,
Today, Naomi showed that wart on the arm. In the group, do you see that
Yeah,
picture?
that's why I saw the book guru. That's why I'm
In the
asking
group,
the too much
no,
questions.
that is a word, and it is like you will see that surface is dry and cracked, looking like a dry cauliflower like type. But it is a simple word. with dry surface and with cracks on it.
Mhm.
And whites are very different type. Even skin tags are there.
Hmm.
So, any questions, other students? Aisha?
No, sir.
Okay. So next time,
You can ask Satvik if he has any questions.
who?
Satvik Tiwari. He's got a nice picture there of himself in a lab coat.
Mm,
Thank you, ma'am.
Any questions?
Satvik Tiwari.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Any questions?
No, ma'am, this time I don't have.
Okay.
Okay, next time.
Yes, sir.
This is a just first year student. They have an just say reading. Only homeopathy subject is a pharmacy. Just I am teaching the little bit materia medica pura and little bit the organon, but there is a no subject of the
Okay, then we can come with anatomy.
Sir, anatomy and physiology.
I can teach anatomy also.
Okay, sir. Then we finally give answer and question.
Yeah.
Then we ask question in anatomy.
Yeah, sure. Sure. Okay, then I think we are done for the session, and thank you all.
Yep. Thank you,
And
guys.
thank you, Yona, for making your presence.
No, thank you. Sorry, I was late. Didn't make it early.
And it was really a surprise to see you today, suddenly.
Okay. Yeah.
Usually, means we haven't seen you for such a long time.
I know. I needed to take a break, but I saw the advertisement on Facebook today, and I thought, as soon as I can, I will join today. So,
Yep, you're always welcome.
thank you, Tikva.
Yeah.
It's an interesting topic as well. So sorry I missed it. I just came at the discussion part.
But you know where
Okay.
it's recording.
That's right. That's true. I can actually go through it today. Yeah, to catch up. Great.
We had started this Organon on the Zoom
Yeah.
instead of just putting written material in the group. So actually we can interact and have questions and try to see what exactly the others are trying to understand.
And
Yeah.
also discuss the very difficult words like animate.
Animate. Yeah. There are some difficult concepts in the Organon.
Yeah, animation like cartoons.
Yeah.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah. Okay, I think we should conclude now.
Yeah, next week, we're going to be on Aphorism 16. And Aphorism 16 is going to have some very interesting features to it that you're going to like about the footnote. So be prepared. There's some fun ahead.
And student will come with preparing principles of homeopathy.
Ah,
Huh? Just
Okay, sir.
discussion, it's not test. So you can come by that way you can learn.
Yep, this discussion and this time is only for enriching the mind. It's like Lippy says that in the beginning, you need to go through Organon how many times? And then thereafter, once a year, right?
Yeah.
Once a year. We have a nice picture post on that somewhere.
But first twice a year as a beginner, right?
Yeah, I think so. I have it on my Instagram. Oh, Homeopathy for Humanity is on Instagram, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got
Organon,
all the bases covered. Yep, so Organon is really important. Chronic diseases are really important. The proving data is really important. Yeah.
in the ask in the group if anyone uses this radar opus.
Ask in the group. What group?
Means our group.
Want me to ask if anybody uses Radar Opus?
Yeah, because actually I want to learn.
Sanjay just bought
And
Radar Opus and he's stuck.
I'm stuck.
But
He
it-
didn't call Satyajit.
Means synthesis repertory, na radar opus.
It's not about repertory, actually I am stuck. It's about operation, means how to work with the program.
Sanjay has his MD in repertory.
So it's
No,
not
no,
about
means based
finding
on it. I'm talking
symptoms
about the
or
radar, like zombie, or no, zombie is the different kind of repertory use.
yeah.
And I think radar is based on the synthesis repertory.
Synthesis. Radar is synthesis and zombie it's
Zombie.
based on homeopath. Means it's can't repertory,
Repertory or,
complete.
yeah, homeopath. Yeah, complete
Homeopath.
repertory.
Homeopath.
Yeah, homepath.
Homeopath, complete
Fly
dynamics.
fire. Yeah.
They are based
different
on
kind.
complete dynamic. And radar is based on synthesis. Synthesis itself is based upon Kent.
Yeah,
It's
it is just
advanced
advanced
version of.
version of the Kent.
Okay, we can have discussion going on overnight. So just stop recording.
Well, thank you, everybody, for joining us today, and catch you next
Thank you,
time
sir.
as we, God willing, continue
Thank you,
with
sir. Thank you, ma'am.
of Argentum, no, not Argentum, our Metallicum on Sunday. And then back at
Part
you.
2, Part 3.
Part 3. Yes.
Part 3.
Part 3.
3, approving data. Woohoo! Fun.
You should be there on Aurum Metallicum proving. These provings are really fun. I know it's difficult for you. You can try.
It's hard for me to focus, but I will try.
Yeah. But somewhere you have to start focusing.
That's also true. And we're still recording.
We are still.
Okay.
Tikwa, you should stop recording.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, everyone.